Before you drop off that box at Goodwill, there's something you really need to know. Donating can feel like a kind act, and it often is. But not everything we give ends up helping. Some items actually burden donation centers, get discarded, or, even worse, cost charities money to dispose of. As seniors, many of us are decluttering decades of memories. That sweater from the 80s, the blender that still works but hasn't seen daylight in years. We want to do good. We want things to go to someone who needs them. But here's the truth. Some donations do far more harm than good. And others? They can become a true blessing in someone's life, if given with intention. In this video, we'll walk through what to donate, what to avoid, and a few surprising places that may need your things even more than Goodwill. Because letting go should feel good for you and the person who receives. If you've ever stood over a pile of old clothes, dishes, or books thinking, someone else can use this, you're not alone. That instinct to give is a beautiful one, and it comes from years of caring, saving, and wanting to help. But here's the part we don't often hear. Not everything we donate actually helps. Some items are turned away, tossed out, or even cost donation centers money to process. That means our good intentions might not reach the people we hope to help. As seniors, decluttering isn't just about making space. It's emotional. Every object carries a memory, a moment, or a part of who we were. Letting go can feel like lifting a weight, but only if it's done with care and clarity. In this video, I'll guide you through what's truly helpful to donate, what's better left out, and how to make sure your items go where they'll do the most good. Because your generosity deserves to have real impact. In this video, I'll walk you through what seniors should and shouldn't donate to Goodwill, and why it truly matters. Not every item we give away ends up helping someone. Some donations create extra work, get thrown out, or never make it to the shelves. But others? They can bring comfort, joy, or real relief to someone in need. That's why it's so important to donate with intention, especially when we're letting go of things tied to years of memories. I'll show you which items are most useful, which ones to avoid, and a few smart alternatives that might make a bigger impact than you think. In fact, some of these options could benefit you as much as the person on the receiving end. This isn't just about decluttering. It's about making your generosity count, protecting your time, and helping others in the most meaningful way possible. Let's simplify with purpose. Section A. What not to donate. Let's start with something important. What Goodwill can't accept. It's easy to assume that anything we no longer need could be useful to someone else. But that's not always the case. In fact, some of the most well-meaning donations are quietly discarded, sent to recycling centers, or worse, end up costing Goodwill money to remove. That's not something most of us want, especially when we're donating with good hearts and hopeful intentions. Here's a short list of items that Goodwill and many other donation centers simply can't take, for reasons that often come down to safety, health, and practicality. 1. Mattresses, box springs, and used bedding, even if they seem clean or gently used. Most donation centers can't accept these due to strict health regulations. Bedbugs, allergens, and hygiene concerns make used bedding and mattresses risky to resell or redistribute. And let's face it, no one wants to take home something that could bring health issues with it. If you have a mattress in decent condition, your best bet may be to call a local shelter or search for specialized furniture donation programs. 2. Damaged electronics. This is a big one. Old TVs, radios, or DVD players might seem like they could still be of use to someone, but unless they're in working condition, most donation centers can't afford to test or repair them. The parts are often outdated. Repairs are expensive, and in the end, they're usually discarded. What's more, electronics contain materials that can harm the environment if not handled properly. So instead of dropping them off at Goodwill, try your city's electronic recycling program. Some even offer free pickup for seniors. 3. Non-working small appliances. Blenders, coffee makers, toasters, We all have a few collecting dust in a cabinet. But if they don't work or have missing parts, they're not helping anyone. Goodwill can't resell items that may pose a safety hazard. One easy tip: plug it in before you pack it up. If it doesn't work as expected, it's not a candidate for donation. But don't toss it just yet. Many appliance stores or recycling centers offer trade-in or responsible disposal programs. 4. Broken furniture or heavily worn items. This includes things like sagging chairs, wobbly tables, or stained cushions. Even if they feel fixable, donation centers often don't have the resources or staff to repair them. These bulky items usually end up in the trash, not in someone's home. A good rule of thumb: if you wouldn't give it to a friend, it might not belong in the donation pile. 5. Hazardous materials. This one surprises a lot of people. Things like leftover paint, motor oil, household cleaners, batteries, or pesticides cannot be donated anywhere. They pose serious health and safety risks and are considered hazardous waste. These need to be disposed of through city-approved programs, which many towns offer a few times a year. Some areas even have drop-off sites for seniors that make the process easier. You might be shocked to know, one of the most commonly donated items, especially by well-meaning older adults, is old electronics that don't work. That VCR that hasn't played a tape since 2003? The cordless phone with no base? These get donated by the thousands. And sadly, most go straight into the landfill. Not because people are careless, but because many folks simply don't know. They're not accepted. It feels good to give, and none of us want to feel like we're throwing something useful away. But the truth is, some of these items create more work than they're worth, and can end up doing more harm than good. So what can you do instead? Check with local recycling centers. Many cities have designated spots for electronics, batteries, or appliances. Call a senior-friendly disposal service. Some organizations offer discounted or free pickup for older adults. Ask your local Goodwill. Every location has different rules. A quick phone call can save you a trip and ensure you're giving in a way that truly helps. Final thought for this section: decluttering is hard enough. Don't let the process become frustrating or confusing. Knowing what not to donate doesn't mean your items aren't valuable. It means you're making informed, intentional choices that truly benefit others. You're not just clearing out space. You're clearing the path for someone else to thrive, too. But that only happens when your generosity meets real need, and that starts by knowing where your items really belong. Section B: What you should donate. Now that you know what not to donate, let's shift to the good news. There's a whole list of things Goodwill is usually happy to receive. These are the items that not only pass the donation guidelines, but often fly off the shelves. They're useful, in demand, and can truly make a difference in someone's life. And for many seniors, these are the exact kinds of items that tend to pile up in our closets, cabinets, and storage bins over time. So if you've been wondering, is this worth giving? Here's what donation centers love to see. 1. Gently worn clothing. Goodwill stores rely heavily on clothing donations, and if your clothes are clean, free from major stains or tears, and still wearable, they're likely to find a new home quickly. That sweater you wore to church every winter? The dress you bought for a wedding but haven't touched since? These are the kinds of items that can bring warmth, dignity, and joy to someone else. You don't have to be trendy or high fashion. Just make sure your items are in good condition. If they still have life left in them, someone else will appreciate them. And if you're donating seasonal clothes, even better, coats in the winter. Lighter clothes in the summer are always in demand. 2. Kitchenware in good shape. Take a peek in your kitchen drawers. If you're like most people over 60, you probably have more utensils, pots, and pans than you actually use. Maybe it's a second set of measuring cups, or dishes you no longer need after downsizing. Well, here's the good news. Things like plates, mugs, baking pans, and silverware are some of the most wanted items in donation centers. Many people furnishing their first home or starting over shop at Goodwill for exactly these kinds of basics. So if you have duplicates or items you haven't used in over a year, ask yourself, could this help someone cook a warm meal or set up a kitchen from scratch? If the answer is yes, you're giving more than just stuff. You're giving comfort, function, and a bit of normalcy. 3. Books and DVDs. You know that stack of novels you've already read, or the movies you loved but haven't watched in years. They may be collecting dust on your shelf, but to someone else, they could be the perfect escape, education, or moment of joy. Books and DVDs are incredibly popular at Goodwill stores. They're affordable entertainment, and many families, students, and seniors on fixed incomes rely on them. Large print books, how-to guides, children's books, and classic films are especially appreciated. And yes, even old cookbooks or gardening guides can find new life. If a story brought you joy once, don't be afraid to pass it on. It might be just what someone else needs today. 4. Home decor. You'd be surprised how many people look for home decor at donation centers. Items like picture frames, vases, decorative bowls, clocks, and wall hangings are in constant demand. And for older adults who've recently downsized or inherited decor from loved ones, this can be one of the hardest categories to declutter. But if it's no longer serving you, and you're ready to let it go, someone else might be thrilled to bring it into their home. Your old lamp could light up a dorm room. That painting you've walked past 1,000 times could make a new apartment feel warm and welcoming. Even small decor items can carry big emotional weight. Letting them go with intention allows them to bring new meaning to someone else's space. 5. Working electronics. Yes, working is the key word here. If your CD player, microwave, alarm clock, or coffee maker still runs smoothly and safely, it could be exactly what someone is looking for at a fraction of the price. Just make sure everything is clean and in usable condition. If it still powers on, functions well, and you're no longer using it, it's a great candidate for donation. But here's a helpful tip if it needs special instructions to use, or if it's older tech, consider taping a quick note to it. Something like, hold this button to turn on, or still works great, just a little noisy. It makes a difference and shows care. Here's my favorite secret. Want to make sure your donation actually helps someone who needs it most? Add a small note. I know it sounds simple, but I've done this for years, and it changes everything. When I donated a warm winter coat I hadn't worn in over a decade, I slipped a note in the pocket that said, "This coat kept me warm on many cold mornings. I hope it brings you the same comfort." A few weeks later, I got a call from a friend who volunteers at the local Goodwill. She said the person who bought the coat read the note and cried. That coat didn't just warm their body, it warmed their heart. That's the power of thoughtful giving. Here's how you can try it. Write a short message on a sticky note or index card. Tuck it inside a book, a coat pocket, or tape it to a kitchen item. Keep it simple and kind. Still works great. This mug was my favorite. Hope you enjoy this as much as I did. It turns a transaction into a connection, and in a world that sometimes feels rushed and impersonal, that small human touch can mean everything. Final thought for this section. Giving isn't just about clearing out space. It's about passing something forward. The items you donate today might help someone get through a hard time, start a new chapter, or simply feel a bit more at home. So when you choose what to donate, choose with heart. Choose items that still have life, purpose, or joy in them. Because when you give with thought, even the smallest things can have the biggest impact. Coming up next, I'll share a few powerful alternatives to Goodwill that might serve your community and your heart even better. Let's keep going. Section C. Better alternatives for seniors. For some items, Goodwill might not be your best option. It's not that Goodwill isn't helpful, it is, but some items get overlooked. Some donations never make it to the shelves, and sometimes, the people who truly need them aren't the ones walking through those doors. That's why it's worth thinking beyond just one donation drop-off point, especially as older adults. We often have unique items, heartfelt pieces, or lightly used medical equipment that could mean the world to someone in the right situation, but might sit untouched on a thrift store shelf. Here are 3 meaningful alternatives that are often a better fit for seniors looking to declutter with purpose. 1. Local senior centers. This is one of the most overlooked, yet most powerful places to donate. Senior centers are community hubs for older adults, and they're always looking for practical, comforting items that can be used in programs or given directly to members in need. Many accept books and magazines, especially large print or light reads, puzzles and games, and use toiletries and comfort items, blankets, slippers, neck pillows, canes, walkers, or other lightly used mobility aids, and used craft supplies or hobby materials, yarn, knitting needles, art sets. Why is this such a great match? Because you're helping your peers, the very people you understand best. Whether it's an older adult living alone who needs a warm throw blanket, or someone in physical therapy who could use a second walker, your donation might provide relief, comfort, or even just a little bit of fun in someone's day. And sometimes, these centers will even come pick things up, especially if you're donating in bulk or giving specialty items. It never hurts to call and ask. 2. Churches, community shelters, and outreach programs. While big donation centers like Goodwill serve a wide audience, churches and shelters often work directly with families and individuals who are in urgent need, sometimes escaping domestic violence, homelessness, or natural disasters. They often need everyday clothing, especially for all ages and sizes, bedding and towels, small kitchen items and cookware, non-perishable foods, children's items if you're downsizing after grandkids, gently used Bibles, devotionals, or spiritual books. What's beautiful about donating here is how immediate the impact can be. You're not just helping stock a store, you're directly serving someone who may have nothing but the clothes on their back. Often, these donations go straight into the hands of someone moving into transitional housing or a shelter, rebuilding their life from the ground up. And unlike national organizations, many churches and local programs can tell you exactly where your donations are going, which can bring peace of mind and deeper purpose to your giving. 3. Facebook Buy Nothing groups and local free pages. This option has quickly become one of my favorites. If you haven't heard of them, Buy Nothing groups are local online communities, usually on Facebook, where neighbors give and receive items for free. No selling, no trading, just generosity and community connection. You can post that you're giving away a working toaster oven, books and DVDs, a vintage coat, a box of puzzles, an unused wheelchair ramp, even something simple like extra soup cans or craft supplies. And within minutes, someone nearby will often reach out with gratitude. The best part? You know exactly who's receiving your items. It could be a young mom down the street, a student furnishing their first apartment, or a fellow senior living on a fixed income. You don't have to deal with mailing anything or setting up sales. You just leave the item on your porch and let someone else pick it up. And trust me, this kind of giving feels incredibly personal. A true story that still stays with me. I once gave away a slow cooker I hadn't touched in over 10 years. It still worked fine, but it had just been sitting there and used, taking up space in my kitchen cabinet. I posted it in a Buy Nothing group with a simple note: free slow cooker, used, but still works great if anyone needs one. A woman messaged me that same day. She said she'd just moved into a tiny apartment after leaving a difficult situation. She didn't have a stove, just a mini fridge and a microwave. This slow cooker would let her make real meals again. When she came to pick it up, she thanked me quietly, and then tears welled up in her eyes. She told me it was the first time in weeks she felt like things were starting to turn around. That made my week. Honestly, it made my whole month. And all I did was let go of something I didn't need anymore, something I hadn't thought about in a decade. So what does this all mean? Sometimes the best place to donate isn't the most obvious one. As seniors, we have a lifetime of items filled with stories, history, and purpose. Choosing where those items go is part of the gift. If you want to help someone like you, start with senior centers. If you want to serve someone in crisis, reach out to shelters or churches. If you want to connect right in your neighborhood, try a Buy Nothing group. You're not just clearing a shelf or emptying a drawer. You're giving someone else a chance to start fresh, feel supported, or just smile. And that's not junk, it's generosity. I remember donating my late husband's old radio. It had been sitting in the garage for years, dusty but still working. Before I dropped it off, I tucked in a little note, "Still works. Played jazz every Sunday." It felt personal, like I was passing on a memory, not just an object. A week later, someone reached out. They said the radio reminded them of their father, who used to play the same music on quiet mornings. It brought them comfort. That's the power of giving with intention. When we let go with thought and care, our things don't just find new homes, they carry stories, warmth, and connection with them. Decluttering isn't just about cleaning up. It's about making space for others, to feel seen, supported, and maybe even healed by the small pieces of our past. So before your next drop-off, take just 10 extra minutes to sort your donations wisely. Not everything we give away ends up helping, but when we pause, reflect, and choose with care, our generosity becomes more than just a gesture. It's not just about clearing space. It's about adding meaning to what we let go of. Each item has a story, a memory, a purpose, and when we give intentionally, that story continues in someone else's life. Whether it's a coat that keeps someone warm, a book that brings comfort, or a dish that helps start over, your donation can make a real difference. But only if it's the right item, in the right place, at the right time. Decluttering with intention isn't just good for your home, it's healing for the heart. What's one item you've been meaning to donate, but just can't let go of yet? Maybe it's a coat, a book, or something tied to a memory. Share it below. I'd love to hear your story. Sometimes just talking about it helps us find the clarity we need. And if this video helped you think differently about donating, if it made you pause, reflect, or feel a little more confident about letting go, tap the like button. Your support helps this community grow, and it tells YouTube to share this message with others who need it. And don't forget to subscribe for more simple, thoughtful tips to simplify life after 60. We're on this journey. Together, one drawer, one memory, one meaningful choice at a time.